What's up, guys? It's Saturday, up here trying to get back into the swing of things after being out sick for several days. I see that Joey has been working on the torque arm clearance panel on Grubbworm, and I'll kind of show you a little bit about that. You can kind of see it really opens up the room above the torque arm doing this. Now I'll tell you, when you install these, don't try to cut right up to the edge of where the sheet metal is. Leave yourself like a 1/2 inch overlap all the way around. It'll make your life easier trying to weld this in, because the floor and this area here is not flat. It's got a lot of bumps and ridges and stuff in it. So just leave yourself some extra meat where it'll soak up some of the heat when you're trying to weld, and you won't be fighting it so much. You can stitch weld those in, or you can fully weld them, or I know a couple people who just throw a couple corner welds on there and seam seal the crap out of it. Either way, it's fine. It's not a structural part, so it's not gonna make a difference either way. Joey likes to fully weld stuff in, and that's fine, but to each their own there. So the next thing we're gonna address is the downpipe. Jonathan and me talked last year about the car driving left. Whenever he would go into second gear, it would always drive left, and then into third gear it would drive left too a little bit, and he would have to, you know, pull it back in the groove. And we talked about the downpipe, you know, pushing out the passenger side, and it's been the internet discussion for many years about how the downpipe, or exhaust in general out the side, has a measurable amount of force, whether it's pushing the car or not. And I believe it does. I mean, it's not, on a turbo car, it's probably not near as much as like a blower car with zoomies or something, because you got to think the turbo is soaking up a ton of energy. When the exhaust goes through it, it's taking all that heat energy and stuff out. So, but yes, I mean, it is pushing a lot out of the exhaust. Look at cars that are on the dyno. Look at whenever they reach their full RPM on the dyno pull, how it'll blow a banner off the wall or something like that, like 12 feet up in the air. So that is a measurable amount of force. And when you've got a car that might be hanging the front end up in the air, and it's just struggling to stay straight anyway, if you put that amount of force straight out to the side, it might not take but a couple pounds of force to just nudge that front end out of the groove. So just trying to rule out all kinds of stuff and just make sure we've got all our I's dotted and boxes checked and all that stuff. We're gonna put a little bit more turn up on this downpipe tip. So right now, I mean, it's got a turn up right now just a little bit, but it's still kind of sideways. I don't like necessarily a flush cut downpipe. That's just not been my style for the past couple of years unless a customer requests it. So I've always put a little kick up on it, but I think we're gonna try to do even more of a kick up. We're gonna try to keep it as close to the car as we can so it don't look just awkward. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna work on today, what I'm gonna work on today. I'm gonna take this downpipe off, and I'm gonna cut it somewhere right in there, and we're gonna sneak up on the length on that and see how close we can get it tucked into the car, and see if we can get a larger turn up on this thing. So let's get to it. That Grubbworm's got a big nasty bullhorn now. Not quite as subtle as the other tip. See the other one here. Gives you an idea of the angle difference between these two. A lot more vertical. I sent Jonathan some pictures in Messenger just now, and I said, remember, pro mods are not subtle. So definitely not a subtle downpipe tip anymore. But if this was causing him any issue with it being pretty much straight up now, I think that will eliminate even the slightest possibility of it pushing the car to one side of the track when he gets up to speed, especially when he's hanging the front like he usually does in second gear. It turned out pretty good. Just about messed up and cut this tip too short, but luckily with my little adjuster piece that I made last season, this time I was able just to adjust some length out of it and let the pipe rotate down, and that fixed it right up. So that's it for that. On to the next thing.